place, not really hiding necessarily. It's not clear if they were hidden or if people just ran away. Are you following me? But what is clear, and I've said it before, I'll repeat it, it's so important, nobody came back to get them. Now you're talking about almost 3,000 different manuscripts on parchment, a very valuable commodity in those days. People used to write on both sides of parchment. They didn't like what was on one side, they just turned it over, crossed out the back, and started writing on the other side. It wasn't like a piece of paper you throw in the wastebasket. Parchment was a cured skin of an animal. It's quite valuable. It went through a certain process of production and development. So you're talking about valuable pieces of material, even if you didn't like what was written on them. Nobody came back to get them, no one. And that means, first of all, that no one physically could, geographically speaking, including little children who presumably would have remembered where they were and come back after things were quieter and found their parents' manuscripts, like you would go to your parents' old burned out house or something if you were a little child and something had happened in your household and you wanted to go back and look for relics or this kind of thing. No one went back, no one mentioned it to anybody, no one told anyone, no one gossiped about it, no treasure hunters came. That means, to my mind, only one thing. No one could come back, and even probably more, everyone died. Everyone was killed who was responsible and knew anything about these documents. That's, to my mind, the only explanation. Because they're not, they're 20 miles from Jerusalem. So at a later time, the peaceful time, even oh hey, you know my uncle? He was with some group that put all this stuff over there in caves. Let's go back and get some of that stuff and sell it. No, nothing like that either. So I think everybody was killed, taken to Rome, executed, brutalized, whatever, committed suicide. Masada. I told you a little bit about Masada last time, but if I didn't cover it, Masada is this fortress about another 25 miles down the Dead Sea, where all the Jewish holdouts committed suicide rather than surrender to Rome in 73 AD. In 73 AD. It's a famous episode. Josephus describes it at the end of his Jewish war. It's an incredible site if you see where it's located and so on and so forth. It held out for 3 years after the normal holdout. The temple was destroyed in 70 AD, and the holdouts on Masada went until 73, when women and children were all killed by their heads of families, and then the heads of families killed by lot, killed each other off, and so on. And everybody was killed. And I think those are probably some of the people responsible for the writings in the Dead Sea Caves, because we found Dead Sea Caves like documents at Masada. So I think that is true. Okay. So that's one group of materials that didn't go through the editorial processes of the Roman Empire that we've discovered now. So that throws a whole new light on everything. If for 20 centuries, you see, you are living in very important times. If for 20 centuries nobody knew about this kind of material or what was in it, and it turns out to be extremely messianic, and to have some of the most important passages we know in the New Testament in it, but interpreted from a 180-degree opposite viewpoint, a pro-law, as you can well understand through Paul's writings in Galatians that I read you, a pro-law approach to even the very idea of the new covenant. You know, Christianity considers itself the new covenant. Jesus, in his Last Supper speech, first mentioned by Paul, then put in, or conserve, whichever way of looking at it you want to take, in the Gospels, says, this is the new covenant, this is the cup of the new covenant in my blood, which was poured out for the many, or poured out for you. And then he goes on to explain it a little bit. And Paul goes on to explain it more. Well, the many is a big concept at Qumran. Where we say Qumran is where the scrolls were found. The new covenant We even name one of the documents. The New Covenant, the Damascus document, the New Covenant in the land of Damascus. That document is full of the passages about the New Covenant, but it's also full of a lot of other passages that you find in Scripture, interpreted differently, of course. For instance, in Acts we have James's speech at the so-called Jerusalem Council. In case you're not familiar with it, it's in Acts 15. And Peter's saying something in James' speech, and then he speaks about the Gentiles coming in, and then he's saying, I will raise up the fallen tabernacle of David. And he quotes a passage, the passage about the raising up of the fallen tabernacle of David. I think it's from Amos, the prophet Amos. That's a basic component of the Damascus document from Qumran, probably one of the central passages. The star prophecy, which is the Bethlehem star ideology. The star is the Messiah that will come out of Israel. It's from Numbers 24. It goes something like, a star will rise from Jacob, a scepter to rule the world. That's what's called the world ruler prophecy, which the whole New Testament is an answer to, presenting Jesus as the new world ruler, etc. So these are, and the star prophecies in 3 different places among the Dead Sea Scrolls, and one is in actually a proof text compilation. You know, we used to have out on the campus, not so much anymore, but 20, 30 years ago, when these things were very strong here, we used to have preachers standing outside, and they'd give out little sheets of paper with all the proof text for the Messiah on it. How many have seen those kind of things when they have the proof text for Jesus? There's actual text like that among the Dead Sea Scrolls, which is a proof text of Messianic prophecies, all laid out in just that form. And that's 2,000 years ago, including the star prophecy, and the seed of David, and some other ones, and he shall be my son, and things like that. A whole list of them. Another document in the Dead Sea Scrolls says, this is the time of the preparation of the way in the wilderness. This is the time of the preparation of the way in the wilderness. We've heard of that. We know it's the way the 3 so-called synoptic gospels open up, right? It's the mission of John the Baptist. And John came, and it's applied to John in the wilderness, making a way for the Lord, preceding Jesus. This is the time.